All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to update one of my older guide videos of 10 tips for new players and things I think are important to do. So I actually could talk about a lot of things, more than 10, but that would be literally hours. So I broke it down and just made 10 things. Maybe we'll make a part 2. But the last time I made this video was January. So basically a year ago. And so the game has changed in over a year, or about a year. And I figured, let's update this. And also, going into the new year of 2025, there's probably going to be some new players joining this game. They're probably going to get lost. So if you watch this video and you're new, hopefully some of these help you. But also, we have the Calpheon Ball coming up as of next week. So I'm recording this December 10, and the ball is this weekend. So we'll be covering all that as well and talking about all the new stuff that happens as well. But with that said, 10 tips in no particular order. I think all of these are important at some point, and there's a lot more. Are for new players. Number 1, starting a seasonal character. Now, a lot of you guys, when you think of seasonal characters, you're probably thinking like, you know, those ARPG games like Diablo, Path of Exile, and all that stuff, where basically you make a character and after that you just kind of wait till the new season. It doesn't particularly work like that in this game. So, as you guys know, in BDO, there's like, 26 classes or something. You can have multiple characters and a lot of other, slots for duplicates and everything. So we'll talk about all of that later. But one thing I think is important is actually starting on the seasonal. Even if you aren't like particularly new, seasonal rewards just happen to catch you up a lot faster. And even after you graduate seasons, basically you do everything on seasons before going into the real game. I know that sounds more confusing than it is. It's not actually. The transition from seasonal into the main game is very smooth. You don't even feel like you changed anything. So I guess one thing we could look at is like all this stuff. You get gear called Tuvala gear when you go into seasons, and basically it catches you up about like 60-70% of the gear compared to before, and then you just go from there and progress as you normally would. And so basically that thing is endless. So whether you're a person who has not a lot of free time, maybe you play like an hour a day after work or something, or you play 10 hours, there's no time limit. So with seasonals, you just go at your own pace and you do everything at your own time. Before it used to be, seasonals every few months, you would graduate and so on. Nowadays they changed it, and there's no time limit. So no matter what kind of player you are, whether you play casually or hardcore, you just finish and graduate whenever you feel like it. So you'll see a tab at the top. I don't have it, but it'll be like a seasonal thing where you just, get seasonal objectives done, get rewards and all that stuff. It's something worth doing. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, number 2, is joining guilds. Now, when you think of Black Desert, you're probably thinking like, oh, a lot of this is solo. You've probably heard of this game from like your friends, or you watched an ad or something. And when you see a lot of other people, they're either life skilling, grinding, or like questing, and a lot of it is solo. That is true. I would say realistically about 80-something% of the game is doing stuff solo. It's a sandbox game. That means there's no direct route to the end game. You can do whatever you want to get there. Some things take longer than the others, admittedly, but like that's just really how it is. So just do whatever you like. But the reason why you would join guilds is obviously, 1, for the social interaction, kind of like literally any other online game. But there's a reason to be in a guild, because there's a lot of other things, like there's guild quests that you could do. It helps your guild, you get rewarded as well. The biggest thing I would say joining a guild for, no matter what you do, whether you're a PvEer, PvPer, or you're a life skiller, they have all these buffs right here, right? So this thing gives, you know, life XP or item drop rate and combat XP. So being in here, your guild can pop it whenever. And there's also other things that you can get as well, like stats for your character, like all accuracy, AP, HP, DR, and evasion. So like actual stats your character would have. And these are all just, for the most part, passive. So being in a guild that has all of this maxed, you just kind of get them for your account as long as you're in them. Most guilds these days will have all of these maxed. So no matter what kind of playstyle you have, you'll basically be able to get all the bonuses for whatever you do. And then life skillers and all that stuff, so on. Then there's obviously, you know, joining a guild for PvP purposes, like guild node wars, sieges, and all that stuff, you know, the usual. And then guild bosses. So yeah, there's a lot of actually group activities to do. Most of them are on a weekly, which is like once a week versus doing whatever. But either way, aside from the social aspect of multiplayer games, you actually get bonuses and stuff as well. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about as a beginner, number 3, would be managing your energy and contribution points. So it's over here. This is your energy. This is your contribution points. And when I first started the game, I usually let my contribution points sit at like a high number or unused points just because I didn't know what to do with it. So I have a video talking about like what are the best things to use your contribution points on. And there's obviously energy, which is going into life skills a lot. So either way, contribution points in a very quick nutshell. You get contribution points by byproducts from life skills, questing rewards, or, you know, just playing the game and doing a lot of other things. But you get your contribution points and then you invest in nodes. So if you're a new player looking at this, you're probably like, okay, what is all this? This is very confusing. Let me make this a little bit easier for you. So you can like toggle all of this on and off if you want. So these things are towns, like the green one. I'm just going to explain this as if you played the game for maybe an hour. These are towns. These are nodes. You connect the nodes to the towns in a line, and then you put workers on the nodes. The workers bring back resources to the town, and then you get passive income. And then each node costs X amount of contribution points, and then investing in it will bring back various materials. So as long as you're on the game, you get free money. So that was like the most basic TLDR version of nodes. Energy, literally just play the game, and there's a button where you could look at all of this thing, and then it'll tell you basically what do you have to do to get more energy cap, and then use your energy for, you know, whatever, life skilling, turning it into silver, and then all that stuff. So yeah, basically, my number 1 tip, never let your energy cap out, or, you know, just all of it will be used for silver and gains overall. Contribution, actually use your points. You want this number to be as low as zero as possible, and more contribution point maximum as you can. So yeah, I have a video of that in more detail. I know that was probably confusing, but yeah, something that I didn't learn for the first like few weeks of the game because I was like, I didn't know what this was. All right, so the next thing I would recommend people doing, this is admittedly pretty tedious. Adventure journals. Adventure journals right here are all of these things. The reason why you want to do them is because they give total family bonus stats. So like what family stats means is every character on your account, they'll give you a bonus. So all of these stats, like straight up more AP and DP, survivability, and just more stats overall is good. So like when you're playing seasonal characters that we talked about before, like the first time, if you thought it was like, oh, it took a while to do it, your second time when you do it, you'll have all these bonuses, and suddenly your second playthrough, I guess you should say, is a lot easier, and you'll basically beat it in a huge fraction of the time. So yeah, doing all these, admittedly, you probably will have to look up a guide for this one, because there's just a lot of them. I wish they would simplify it down even further, but ultimately, they're not hard to do. It's just time consuming to do all of them. And then there's a Magnus quest as well. I would say in 2024, they did a pretty decent job at simplifying a lot of items that are outdated, kind of getting rid of them, and then putting or making it easier to catch up as a new player, which I always think is good. My stance on catch up mechanics and like free handouts in the game is I think that's fine, and this is coming from an endgame player like myself. Like, yeah, I put in a lot of hours playing this game as well, but at the same time, I'm just like, all my accomplishments mean nothing if the game is dead. So I'm like, okay, if they're giving out free stuff to newer players like Penn Black Stars, that's fine. Let them catch up, and then, you know, game is still going. That's good. So yeah, with that said, there's a new thing. So back in the day, you still kind of do this more or less, but the main way you travel from point A to B, it used to be from a horse. Like, you would ride your horse from point A to B. Nowadays, they have this thing called a Magnus well, or abyssal well, whatever you want to call it. And then you basically teleport from one well to another, and it actually saves so much time. It is one of the greatest quality of life things they've ever added in this game. And I still remember when it came out, people were mad that it was in the game. And those people, I don't like what is happening. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, do your adventure journals, do your a lot of quality of life things. The way I would look at all of this is, first of all, by default, these are not all on. So what you would do is, you see this one, click all, and then click all of these and make sure they show up. If you don't want to see certain ones, you could like toggle them on and off, but just make sure to turn them all on. Obviously, this is your main questline chain, and you know, it's funny because I did all of this when it came out, and then they had like a remastered version, which is the exact same thing, but like remastered. So I haven't even done this yet, but yeah, like I've literally done it multiple times. But anyway, for new players, what I'd recommend is just doing stuff in your suggested and then reoccurring, because those actually give you things that you'll be using in the future, and a lot of these are actually important. So yeah, next thing I wanted to talk about, well, we sort of talked about this earlier, workers and nodes. So I talked about that in the TLDR that we just talked about 2 minutes ago. In every town, there's an NPC called a work supervisor. And basically, you hire workers and all that stuff, or you can buy them, to send them onto the node. So the way it works is you invest in the node, you put the worker on the node, they bring back a bunch of goodies in your storage. Profit. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to bring that up twice is because it is actually important. No matter whether you're a beginner or an endgame player, chances are you're going to be doing that as well. So it's good to start early instead of figuring this out a month later, and that's just like lighting silver on fire that you didn't have. So yeah, I wanted to reiterate that is important to do. The next thing I want to talk about, number 6, is having multiple characters. Now, most people, when they play a game, they're like, oh, I just want to play one character. I want to have one main, and that's all I want to do. And myself included, I, for the most part, play one character. And you're going to see this like, oh, you have like 35 characters or something. Over the years, when they release characters, I just kind of try them. Obviously, you know, I play games for fun. So whenever they come out with something new, I'm just like, I want to try it. That's cool, right? But the reason why you would also have multiple characters is because they actually have some sort of function. So as you guys know, in BDO, there's a lot of different things where you can leave your characters at for like bosses, right? Or let's say you can leave them at different spots for life skills and whatever. They also function in a way of energy batteries. So you know how I told you before not to let your energy cap? Energy turns into silver one way or the other, whether you life skill for it, turn it into like energy potions and sell it, or you do something with it. All your characters will have an energy pool the same as yours. And one tip that I can give all of you is, you see how this is your maximum. This is more a little bit in advance. But one thing that we do is we have energy crystals. It gives you plus 10 energy, and you can have 2 crystals. So if you have this equipped, your total pool goes up to plus 20. And if you put them on alt characters that you don't play, their total will be the upper cap. So whatever plus 20 of your maximum was before. So if you don't play them, maximum is higher. Very cool, right? But either way, there's a lot of reasons to, have ultimate alt characters, because you can store your fail stacks. If you don't know what a fail stack is, basically you fail gear, and then the higher your fail stack is, you use it on an item that you want to go up and succeed, and it works. Is it a stupid system? Absolutely. This is like the only game that has, well, not only game, there's a lot of games that have it, but it's not great. And it's just one of those things that, you've been playing the game for a while, you know what it is. But either way, you can store them all for free on your alt characters, and there's a way to pay for extra slots called the Nadar's Band. But that's just convenience. But anyway, leaving your characters in different spots, like at boss locations, so you don't have to bring your main there, because sometimes it takes a while to get there, is always a good idea. And I would say, when I first started, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do everything on one character easy. And then I realized I'm kind of lazy, and I just want to leave a character at one spot. And so that's why you can do it. And also, there's a bunch of other reasons, like you can tag your character and have the same gear as your main. So if you want to try something new, then you can do that. But yeah, it's always fun. Aside from the whole objective of, I just want to play new characters because it's fun, there are actually benefits of having multiple characters, even if you only play one character as your main. So yeah, the next thing I want to talk about was learning the central market. So in this game, every MMO has some sort of market economy, right? This is not new. And in this game, in Black Desert, it's called the central market. You basically buy and sell everything. We all know how a market works if you've ever played literally any online game. And the way I think it is a good thing to learn it is because BDO is an event-driven economy game. So, like, let's say, Christmas is coming up. They might have drop rates for a lot of spots, and, people are going to be playing the new event or grinding new zones. Suddenly, the prices of drops go down, and if you're trying to go for a gear upgrade, that might be a time to buy it. And or like stock up on items, and then if 2 months down the line from now you're like, oh, I want to sell these, and then profit. So there's a lot of reasons to learn to market. We have a video series every month. It's called Window Shopping, and I look at the trends for notable items, and I tell you whether it's good to buy them, sell them, or try to enhance for profit. So those are more in detailed videos. But yeah, learning to market is always a good thing, not just for BDO, but like life and other games as well. So yeah, learning it, and just you're going to be using this a lot in this game unless you actively choose not to. I've seen those like Iron Man series that other people do, where there's like strict rules on everything. I guess hardcore, as you would say. But yeah, learning the central market, you're going to be using it a lot. The next thing I want to talk about, these kind of 3 are more like personal, but I still want to talk about it myself. And 1, a lot of people ask me, what character should I play in this game? And the truth is, you should play the one that you enjoy. Simply because this game is a lot of doing things on one character. Or, well, not really one character, but you're going to be grinding a lot. And so you want to find the one that you enjoy, otherwise it's going to feel tedious. And as a person who's been playing multiple characters, and I've tried basically every character in the game, I'm better at some than others, but it really comes down to, like, yeah, I could play the meta class that does really well, or I can enjoy grinding and still have fun with the game on doing something I like to do. So I know this game has like what, probably almost 30 classes at this point. And if you don't know what you want to play, the way I would help people with this is tell me about your play style and what do you like to do? Do you like to play support? Do you like to play a caster, melee, tankier build, or something like that? And then I could help you narrow down your choices is basically what I can do. And so, yeah, find a class you like. I have played other games like League of Legends, so if you use various other terms as well, I could probably help you with that. Other MMOs, other, like RPG kind of games. You could use those terms. I'll probably know what you're talking about. So that's always cool, right? And the next thing I want to talk about, number 9, is settings and optimization. So in MMOs, as we all know, it's a little bit different than playing like a single player game where FPS is DPS and everything. It's kind of a meme, but also kind of true. Obviously, if you are like grinding or PvPing, you want more FPS, right? So I have a dedicated video talking about this. I'll leave it in the description for everything I talked about. But basically, I'm in town right now, so my FPS, it's a little bit different. Anyway, I talk about everything that I would turn off as a new player. So when you first start the game, first minute you load into the game, all these dumb settings are on. And I talk about things you want to turn on and off. And even for myself, I have a lot of these still off myself. So yeah, just like make sure before you actually play the game, tweak all your settings, because there's just a lot of stuff you're going to see that you don't need to see until you do. So my number 1 tip for all of you, turn all this off until you think you need it and then turn it on. But as for all of this, make sure to like remap everything and then play the way you would like. And I think it would be super helpful. Also, there's a whole nother thing that I talked about in terms of like best optimization for FPS and all that stuff. It's in the same video. But make sure to actually tweak this because there's a lot of settings, and ultra in this game does not mean what you think it means. So it's like, this is more, it even tells you that like ultra settings are not meant for like combat and stuff. It's more just like RP or, taking nice screenshots, which I always love seeing nice screenshots in this game because it actually looks good. The hard truth is I think BDO is one of the better games in terms of like combat. Balance is a different story, but in terms of like combat style and the amount of diversity in terms of like classes and everything, it's amazing. The graphics are good and everything, so it's something you should tweak around as well. And the last thing I want to talk about is actually pretty important. So as we all know, in BDO, your gear and your like how you make your accomplishments are mostly solo. You can't like, hey, like I can't just bring my friend into the game and give them all my gear. So everything you have, it truly does feel like you've earned it. And so the tip I can give you is don't compare yourself to others in this game. And this is going to be weird, but like I always enjoy competition in video games, right? Like when I first started this game, I joined with one of my friends and our goal was just to see, who can get the most gear faster. And, over the years, you started to see like one enhancement success could literally mean weeks or months of progression if you are unlucky. So for people who are new coming into this game and you're just like, I just want to get to end game in 2 days. Yeah, it doesn't really work like that. So if that's your mentality, the hard truth is this game might not be for you. I could recommend a lot of other games that are, you could just go in. If you have a few friends in there, you could just get carried through some other stuff and get to end game in about a week. Yeah, it doesn't work like that in BDO. So yeah, the one thing I would say is just work on everything at your own pace. It's a sandbox game. Whether you like grinding or life skilling, just do what you enjoy and you won't burn out. So Yeah, over the 8 years I've been playing this game since beta or whenever it came out on NA, I was like, okay, so I always set goals in this game, and I guess that's why I'm still playing this game, because some days I feel like I don't want to play it, but it feels different than burning out of the game, right? So yeah, just do things, work on things one step at a time, and I can assure you that you won't burn out as fast as I've seen some other people burn out, because it's like, oh, I just want to get to endgame, and then what? So yeah, there's a lot of things to learn in this game, and I bet you that if I were to start over, I could still progress a lot faster than other people, simply because knowledge of this game is worth so much more than, you know, grinding, you know, doing things brainlessly. But yeah, doing things optimally and just, you know, playing at your own pace, you just kind of learn things. So with that said, those are 10 tips I wanted to give you. There's actually a lot more things I could talk about, but I figured these are pretty important as well. And if you enjoyed it, drop a like. Maybe I'll do a part 2 going into the new year as well. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed. With that said, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I have a bunch of other videos I wanted to update in the future. So if you enjoy these style of videos, I'll see you guys tomorrow and going forward. So if you have any questions, have a Discord down below. You can ask me. We have a channel for gear. If you need help with anything, need help getting pointed in the right direction for whatever you're doing, I'm pretty knowledgeable of this game. I think I could help everyone no matter what class you're playing. Obviously, I know things better than others in like classes, but in terms of general knowledge, I think I'm pretty okay at it. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Peace.